Hey family, good morning. This is Leontini, Black History 365. Today we're going to talk about really the essence of everything that I've been trying to teach and trying to share. And this is the most sensitive, most devastating topic for us to discuss and to explore. And that is the enslavement of Black people for 400 years and going forward, because we're still not where we need to be as a nation and as a world addressing the worst sin ever perpetuated upon mankind. I don't think that a lot of people truly understand about slavery. You know, there will be people that will say, let's just get over it. It was a long time ago. They don't understand almost the total destruction of a people. So they'll want us, those who benefited from chattel slavery or from slavery, they want you to get over it, forgive them, and to move on. But that would be the same as if someone came into their home and took their daughter and their sons, kidnapped them, changed their names, raped, lynched, sodomized, branded, brutalized, you name it, they did it. It's a pure wickedness of the heart. Any person who was complicit with the transatlantic slave trade and their descendants, you will not be forgiven until you are totally ready to repair. You cannot kidnap people, shackle them, brand them, and treat them like an animal, actually worse than an animal, and expect their descendants to just forgive you. And the reason why many of the descendants of these enslaved souls forgive you is because you taught them your religion and you taught them to forgive you, which was very sinister, which was very wicked, because what that meant is that no matter what you did to them, whether you sold their children away or sodomized their son, starved them, beat them, whipped them, lynched them, that they would have to forgive you. Really what they should have done, and many did, is rise up and club you and defend themselves. Really, that's what they should have done. But you taught them that if you, the slave, didn't forgive them, then they couldn't get into heaven, which is a bunch of BS. But that's what they taught us. And now we have to unlearn everything, and I'm talking about all of us, not just the descendants, but all of us have to unlearn that wickedness that was taught to us. We can't move forward until we unlearn those lies that were taught to us. So I just want you, I'm going to share some of these words, and I want you to think about if this happened in contemporary time to your family, what would you do? Would you immediately forgive someone? So if you were branded, whipped, raped, sodomized, or murdered, we know today that if any of these things happen, and they do to us, you can go, a police officer can go, a white one, not a black one, get any random Black person. We've seen it. We see it every day in America. That's why Colin Kaepernick has asked for us to take a knee to address these issues. These are extremely, extremely important issues. And in order for this nation to move forward to repair, we have got to recognize it and repair it. Or we'll continue to repeat the past. When they say history repeats itself, it does if you don't change it. So in this culture, the oppressors, the guilty parties, what they did, what they sought to do, was to erase the identity, the culture, and especially the religion of the people who they captured. Because if you don't have an identity, then you'll believe anything. Anything someone feeds you, you'll say, oh yeah, oh okay, I'm whatever, XYZ religion. When that wasn't your original religion, when that wasn't your original DNA. And scientists now know that the trauma that was suffered from those souls in the transatlantic slave trade, those tendencies and that harm and that hurt has been genetically transferred to their offspring. So sometimes you'll see people fearful of certain things, where maybe it's a dog barking, because they use dogs and animals to terrorize black people. And so you'll find, and I'm not talking about pet owners, people who love their animals and their dogs and cats, that type of thing. I'm talking about using the dog to become the enemy of the enslaved person. And even when you look at the civil rights footage, you will see the police using attack dogs on black men and black women, even as recent as the 1960s. So whatever they can use, these people are wicked, and I'm just going to say it. And I'm not saying that every person is complicit, but if you believe the lie of white supremacy, white privilege, you're complicit, and you need to change. Point blank, no questions asked. You need to change, and you need to understand. So the way that we replace the oppressor's system is that we get out of it. And the way that we look towards atonement, we'll always say, and this just really bothers me when I see this on television, if someone's child was murdered by the police or someone else, they immediately say, I forgive that person. And again, that goes back to our history. We were taught, forgive us. So they continue to do things, and you continue to forgive them. Forgiveness takes a process. It may take years and years. It may take centuries. But in order to atone, what we're taught is to forgive. But we're really doing it backwards. In order to atone, we all need to have education and understand the destruction that came to people. My people, your people. Not only were African Americans harmed in this system, everyone didn't own slaves, and everyone wasn't on board with this wicked system of slavery. So we need to do it in the right way, the right order. We need to provide education to everyone, and real education, not lies. We need to look at a system of reparation to repair the past sins and travesties against people who came through the transatlantic slave trade, and then you can get to a place of forgiveness. If you do the work and you're truly sorry, we'll forgive you, then we can mend and we can move on. But if you just say out of your mouth, let's forgive people for slavery, for kidnapping your people, for having them go through segregation and Jim Crow, all kinds of indignities, that forgiveness is not going to come easily. So here's a few books that I would like to suggest. One is Israel on the Appomattox. It's a lengthy book, but really gives some information that maybe you haven't heard before, and it's set pretty much. I'm picking up my books on the floor. Sorry about that. The birth of Black America. Now that we're coming upon the commemoration in Jamestown 2019, the 1619 to 2019 400-year commemoration of the first Africans in in the New World in Virginia. That's coming up soon. I'm planning and hoping to be part of that commemoration. And then this is another book that I recommend that people read, Runaway Slaves, because many enslaved people ran away. We don't tell that story. We always hear the story about the happy slave. Well, should be happy. You got work, even though it's for free, and you got one outfit, no shoes. And we've taken everything. We're going to work you till you die. And then when you have children, we're going to work them till they die. That is a wicked spirit. And that wicked spirit is still here in the earth. We see it every day. Turn your television on. Who are the pedophiles? Who are still the rapists? Who are still the ones who accuse of rape? It's not the people who were the enslaved people, or the people who were the oppressors. Here's another book. This was an exhibit at the Smithsonian years ago, and I really like this book, Field to Factory, because despite being enslaved and despite all that we went through and that we are still going through in this nation, we're still prevailing, and we will prevail, and we will get to the top. We will reach that mountaintop. There's no question about it. We will reach it. And we will reach it because people of goodwill and people who aren't wicked, doesn't matter what color they are, they're going to make sure that we do. Because in order for all of us to survive, we have to do the right thing. Now, one of my friends gave me this book, one of my white friends, called Waking Up White and the Privileges and Things That You Don't Think About Going Through This Society. It's a good book, too. It's a good read. We've tangled this mess for 400 to 600 years. It's time to untangle it. It will take time, education, reparations, and generations to understand that it wasn't just a short period of time, but it affects our lives today. So I will say have a good day, have a blessed day, and I'll see you a little later.